many recordings of
Chromes.
myself just saying, "Oh yeah, the megabyte meter is is ticking up."
I've hit record on the show, Daniel. It counted down just then if you didn't see it.
Ooh, no, I haven't seen it. So we're live.
We are
Dave, the
live.
bit of the week. The bit of the week. I'm writing these down, and then
Go
I'm
on.
not telling you. But the bit of the week is this week. We need section titles for every section of the show.
Section titles for every section of the show. How no.
All right, first section is introduction. Da, 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 da. Hey, welcome to Waiting for Review, a show about the majestic indie developer lifestyle. Join your scintillating hosts, Dave and Daniel, and let's hear about a tiny slice of their thrilling lives. Join us while waiting for review. Dave, how are you?
Kia ora, Daniel. I am good. Yes, it is. I want to say a sunny morning here in New Zealand. It is not a sunny morning, but that's fine. We've had some sunny mornings lately. But yeah, no, I'm good, mate. It's been a good week.
Fantastic.
How about yourself?
I'm exhausted. I'm good. I worked so much and I was so motivated. I was so incredibly motivated, but now the weather has suddenly changed. It it fell from 35 degrees centigrade to 15 or so. So
That's rough.
from I don't know, topless weather to sweater weather.
Oh,
And I'm just like, my body is not dealing with it well. I tell you that. I am exhausted. Although this show is actually giving me energy.
hey, oh, that's good.
So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, not that we want to make this the weather show, but what you've described, that temperature change, you're reminding me of when we moved from the UK to New Zealand and we did that flight to come here to live, and getting on the plane in the UK, I think we were up there in the 29, 30 degrees, and then landing in New Zealand in sort of the middle of winter, it was more like 3 or 4. And I remember how much I felt that. So if you've had that just being at home in the space of a day or two, yeah, it's a rough ride, man.
I don't know, like over the weekend, like it was super hot, sunny, and then I think I want to say Sunday night it started raining, and then just like it dropped like crazy, like
Yeah,
bananas. But oh well, this
bananas,
is not
mate.
the weather show.
It's not, no. But yeah, how have things been going telemetry deck wise? New
Is that
section,
the title of the
maybe.
section?
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm playing along at home.
Fantastic. All right, how have things been? How have things been doing telemetry wise? Things are like, I did so many small things. Like I have a GitHub board that's called Bugs and Paper Cuts,
Mhm.
and the last few weeks I've been able to just throw so many things off of that board, like
Yeah.
um tiny bugs, small little support requests that were like, hey, like for example, the animation on the overview is not quite right if this is happening, or like sometimes the resizing doesn't work. Um, Small things like, for example, that when you create filters, then you kind of need to know what kinds of parameters a telemetry deck signal has, even though the system should know that.
Mhm.
Um, and so I've created a auto suggestion field, because turns
Hey.
out HTML does that now. Like HTML has so many native controls now these days. Like
Yep.
you can have native modals. I replaced our drop downs with native drop downs, and they are now animated and slightly more pretty.
Nice.
So much actually in like. Let me have a look. I'm writing a blog post right now. The
Okay.
blog post is called Telemetry Deck version 7 because public facing version numbers are completely meaningless to me, for Telemetry Deck at least, but it's really good for marketing, and it might
Yep.
even make a press release. Um, and so I can actually have a look at that blog post and see like what I did. Oh yeah, I did. I put in a paragraph about the new visual query editor that I already told you about, the JSON
Yep.
schema based one. And also, we have a recommendation system now.
Okay.
which is a thing that I wrote because I found out that 90% of people using the Swift SDK are using Swift SDK version 1.5, whereas 2.3 is the current
Ooh.
version. And
Okay.
I only noticed that because I noticed that most people, I was like, okay, like Telemetry Deck ingestion API version 2 has been out for 1.5 years. Like, how many people are using that? 10%.
Yep.
Um,
Ouch. Okay.
so one of my goals is now to get people to move to the new API because it's way more performant. It uses less traffic, and also it
Hmm.
has a few convenience methods that will convert data for like signals from the old style to the new style with the namespace parameter names and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so I wrote a thing that I actually have this thing already. I have a it's called a job in Vapor. Like you can just have a function that gets called every say like every I config like any like a cron job basically.
Yep.
This one runs every 30 seconds. It picks the last or one organization at random ordered by has least recently been worked on. And then it does all the things that it can do. I call this method the organization janitor. It counts the signals. It sees if it needs to remind the owner of the organization to update their plan or whatever. But what it also now
Yep.
does is it goes through the individual apps and then checks for various recommendations that it can give. So the two recommendations that it can give for now are A, you are obviously sending web analytics signals, but your overview page is set to app mode and you're missing out on the cool charts. So click here to switch
Okay.
that.
That's useful.
Um,
Yep.
and over half
I'm
of the
probably one
people
of
who
those
got that
people.
recommendation have actually clicked on the switch that button, which is really, really nice.
Yep.
And the other is, hey, you're using an older version of the Swift SDK. The newest version is 2.3. Consider upgrade.
Right. So yeah, I was wondering about that. I was wondering how you were going to contact people and let them know. That is obviously a very good one, identifying it
Yeah.
and emailing them.
I'm actually not emailing this. It's just like a little red bubble in their UI. But I should probably email them as well.
Okay. So the other thing I was thinking of was that could you have a something that spams Xcode's log, like in debug mode, where if it the telemetry deck SDK registers and then realizes it's out of date, it tells them there and then in the console.
Maybe. I don't know. I consider it. Like maybe
Yeah,
this is already enough, just based on like people want to get rid of the annoying orange dot in there. Like the badge with
yeah,
a
yeah,
number,
yeah.
and I want to really get rid of that in their user interface. But yeah, like sending that out as an email is definitely a good idea, and also. Like your idea is also good. I just have to think about how to do that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because GitHub get very annoyed with you if you send too many requests towards their API.
Okay. Well, anyway, that was just me sort of thinking out loud. Really, is that my mode for getting that work done would be compiling and spinning up a new version of my app, and then at that point, if I see it in the log, I'll be like, oh, okay, let's update the package and see what happens. So that
Yeah,
could be an angle.
I'll
But
think
in
about
any
it.
case, this is not the Dave gives Daniel work show today.
No, that
You have
section
enough on
is
your plate.
canceled for today.
Yeah, we scrubbed
I
that one
do,
out.
yeah. I have another section, but maybe we do one of your sections now,
Go
and
on.
then we can do it. So the next section title apparently is Dave has commissioned a designer.
Yes, yes. So, okay, let me explain myself just quickly, and this could be a show and tell, actually, Daniel, because I've got a
Please.
design to walk through.
All right, cool.
But let me lay the context. So, I have been thinking for a while that I wanted to work with a designer friend of ours, Chris Lazinski. Chris is an awesome guy. He runs Next Planet is his app business, and he has various apps in the store. He's got a games score counting app called Scoro, all the way through to an expenses tracker app called Numi, and various others as well. I think Chris has got 4 or 5 apps in the store now. But anyway, talk to Chris
And they
fairly
are well
often.
designed.
They really are, and Chris is my co admin maintainer of the Discord group that we mention on this show. So if his name sounds familiar, it's probably for any of those reasons to people listening. But anyway, engage Chris because I have an area of my app, the effects selection part of my video mixer app, which gets the most feature requests and noise and could it do this sort of stuff from customers. And I have been annoyed with it since I built it. So I said this is going to be show and tell. Maybe I just share the Figma presentation, because me and Chris caught up, had a good chat about the constraints and the issues and the things with the design as it is. But I think if I just let me boot this up here. Live demos are always awkward.
Can anyone see my screen? Is Helen
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
Is Figma in the room with us right now?
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Who started the music? 1 second. Right. Okay. So I'm sharing. I'm going to share my screen.
If you take a few more seconds, then
Go
I will
on.
tell you the joke that Lisa told me, that apparently Taylor Swift tells when something goes wrong on stage and she needs to kill 10 seconds or so. Then she tells this joke about a cat that walks into a library and says, "Hey, can I get some tuna?" And then the librarian says, "Hey, this is a library." And so the cat is like, "Hey, can I get some tuna?"
I had no idea where that was going to go. That's fair enough. Damn you, library cat! You've made me laugh. That was just the right amount of time as well, because here goes.
Thank you, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I say that every day. Here we go. Okay, so I'm sharing the Figma prototype that Chris made for me. And let's have a look. This is the current design today, and I'll give a bit of a audio descriptive for everybody who's not watching the YouTube. So what we have here is the users entered into the effect selection flow in my app, and you can see here it's a sheet. You can clear the effect. We've got some controls down the bottom here, and we have a grid 3x15 of all the effects that you can select. And down the very bottom, we've got these 4 tabs. So you can select 4 effects, and they chain from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And that's it. That's the effect selection as it is today.
Okay. So use those to layer the effects on top of each other, basically.
That's right. Yeah. So what we've got in terms of constraint, as I put this to Chris, is like, well, I've got this 3x15 grid here.
3x5, actually.
3x5. Yeah, it gives me 15 slots. Right. And I'm fed up with it. If I want to add a new effect, I've got to decide, do I make this bigger? How does this work? Do I make this scroll? Do I get rid of it completely and replace it with some other flow? And so we talked through my issues, and Chris, probed and added notes on his side, took everything into account. The other bit that I had with this is I want to be able to have this effect, the control at the bottom, the effect control bit down here.
The sliders.
Sliders. They can be sliders. They can be anything. You could have a circular control in there, or toggles, or whatever. And I wanted that to be just a little bit more dynamic. At the moment, it's got a set space in screen, and it fights the rest of the components for space. One last constraint before we look at the designs Chris has come up with. Users want to be able to toggle the effects on and off, and at the moment that doesn't exist. So if you select an effect, you can't just tap it again to turn it off, you've actually got to clear it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you clear it in the process, then it actually changes the parameters you've got set. So if you've set this slider up here, it's
and
not
also
good.
people want to preview, right? Like, I mean, you said that at the
This
beginning,
is,
but I want to kind of
yeah,
see what's happening.
this is the, yeah, and the preview's at the very top here. And that is essentially working today, but yes, you should be able to see what you've done. So if I look at the design here, we've got
Right, you got
several
version
versions.
1, version 2, version 3.
Yeah, version 1 is a little bit of a tweak, where you can see here we've got this search that might then enter
There's
into...
a search bar at the top. Yeah, what does it search for?
It'll search for effects, so you'll be able to filter the effects. Now, this was one view to sort of say we could keep the grid, but then go into a list when you go into search. I don't think I want to do this. This would be a sort of, the user still gets the top 15 effects to select. But the UI's perhaps not as clear as it should be. Let me go to the one I want. The one I'm really, really happy with is and this is the thing, right? Chris is a pro. Chris is on top of his game here, and he's given me options. And that's been the best part of this whole process as a developer who can barely design. That's nice.
So now version 2,
designer.
you've replaced the grid of effects with a list, and then
that's right.
the configuration of effects kind of floating on top of the list, apparently.
Yeah, and you can see here that can flip down. So the effect controls, the sliders, has a little down arrow on the top of it, and it can be dismissed down like another little sheet over the top.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, and obviously, we'd animate that in SwiftUI, make it beautiful. We've got some other things that it could do there. This is for future features. But the other thing is we've gone from a sheet over the top to full screen, because it gains a bit more real estate.
And still has the preview, and the preview seems to be floating above everything, same as the configuration. If the configuration is visible, then it's kind of floating above the...
That's right.
So it's a bit more three-dimensional.
So yes, a little bit more three-dimensional, and it lets people in the flow of using it do what they need to do, because when you're selecting the effect, you probably don't care about the controls at that point. You just want to find the effect. So you can get that out of the way. You can scroll and do the previews. Pretty much got to be there, to be honest, so you can see what's going on. But what I like about this,
it could probably move to the top right corner.
Funny you should say that. That's the other iteration in the design.
Version 3. And there the preview.
Did you know?
To the top right corner. I think I saw this somewhere.
I might have shared this with you. Yeah.
This is a refined version of the previous one with the preview.
That's right.
So like most of the list is visible.
Yeah.
And like the design, like the colors are a bit tweaked, and I think the UI elements were also a bit tweaked.
Yeah. So the other change here is that this becomes more of a control at the bottom on the control. So if you dismiss it, it pops down to a little icon. I think I'll be merging the two, because I quite like, on version 2, I quite like this pane here.
You like the pane?
Yeah. Yes. Damn it. So that's the design, and like, what I love about this is that it gets me everything that I've been after, right? All those constraints we talked about at the beginning is here. Chris has given it a little bit more pop. He's took my corner radiuses in a bit more, and I really love how slick that's starting to look there.
Yeah, it does look very slick.
Yeah, and the other thing here that I wasn't doing that Chris has added is this concept of, if I'm controlling colors, you can see I've got red, green, blue there. Why not color the sliders so it's clear to the user what's going on?
Although, like, if you're actually controlling colors, like, why not have one of those fields where you just like can pick a color?
Well, that might be. That might be. I mean, in this context, it wouldn't be the case. This is actually controlling color levels, so you would want the separation. But there are some
Oh,
potential
fair.
effects that would use a color picker for sure. And that's the other thing. I've got a bit more flex now in the design to
Hey,
go and
good.
add those
You got so
things.
much room for activities in that screen. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing now. But shout out to Chris. I very much appreciated his work.
I
And
didn't
this
know he
actually,
was a designer too. I thought he was just a developer, but
no, he's
I stand corrected.
multi-talented. Yeah,
Fantastic.
but it's a big deal for me because this marks the first time that I have officially contracted out anything like that
Hmm.
for GoVJ for my app, um, and I've been really pleased with the results. This was like a 45-minute conversation between me and Chris. Chris has gone and done the work I've paid him for. Now I have a beautiful design to start building. I wish I'd done it sooner in some ways. So, um, yeah, because my own designer skills are always a work in progress, right? Uh, my strength is my code, um, and design isn't. So it's been good to get the help, and I think I'm at a stage now with things with this app where that makes sense. Um,
Fantastic.
yeah. Oh, and bonus.
Nice.
The bonus thing
Bonus.
about this
Uh-huh.
is that I should be able to pull some of this into GoVJ Pro as well. So, which is the new app on
Very
the
good.
horizon. Yeah. Hmm.
I just
I
heard the
love that.
tiniest meow.
Yes, your co-host
Co-host
chipped
has
in on
entered.
your side.
Can you see her on the screen? You cannot.
I cannot.
Come say hi.
Oh, hang on. Which one have we got there?
That's Mimi.
Hey, Mimi. Oh, I heard a purr. Yes. Waiting
She
for review.
understood
The
the
show
assignment.
not about weather, sometimes about apps, sometimes about SaaS, and definitely about cats whenever they
Oh,
show up.
most definitely.
Yeah.
We got the co-host and everything.
So I reckon we could have one last section maybe for a slightly
Hmm.
shorter show. What have we got?
You
And
sent out an email, and I actually got that email. I was like, "Oh, I want to talk to you about
oh,
that."
go on. Yeah. So wanted to talk to me about it just in general, or did you spot anything you wanted to talk about inside
No,
of
I
it?
was just like gonna congratulate you. Hang on, let me pull up the
Ah.
email. Um, I got an email that says GoVJ 3.2 is available now. And
Mm-hmm.
my thinking was, this is a really good email because it's well written
Okay.
and it has the right level of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dave, you're a good copywriter. It's just nice.
Oh,
Like
thank you.
if I could afford to hire you, I would hire you as a developer evangelist or something. And
Yep.
you'd have to write so much copy for our website because you're just good at it.
Oh, thank you. Um, yes, I'm just looking
See,
down
and
the email
the
again now.
email even includes the screenshot. That's where I saw it.
Yes, yes, it does. So this is the other thing is I'm definitely trying to just engage with my users and I want to say with my audience, and that's actually quite an interesting uh, sort of tweak in my thinking.
Hmm.
I've been posting things to Instagram and TikTok over the last couple of weeks here and there. Um, I'm actually thinking that one of the best routes for me to market this app is going to be to just build an audience on those platforms potentially. Uh, but anyway, that I digress. This is I'm looking at the email now, and I've got a mailing list with about 270 people on. I think, you know,
That
a
number has
reasonable.
grown. Like last time you said a number, it was like 39 or something.
Yeah, it's grown. It's grown pretty significantly. I put the GoVJ Pro landing page up at the beginning of the year, um, and that has continued to be a bit of a lead magnet, as it were, in terms of
Nice.
pulling people in.
You should probably put that on Kickstarter or something.
Maybe. I mean, again, just looking down at the mail though, I'm absolutely using this as an opportunity to just tell people about what's going on and how I'm doing it. Uh, and whenever I send an email out, I seem to get a sale on something within a bit of time. So there's some
Nice.
positive reinforcement, if you like, going on. Um, yeah. So definitely email your peeps. I would screen share, but we've done enough of that on the show.
We've done
And
enough screen sharing.
yeah.
But since we're in the email section, I recently
Hmm.
realized that for about the last 3 months, when you registered an account for Telemetry Deck and then clicked the check the box for yes, I would like to receive the newsletter, you didn't get added to the list for newsletter subscribers. So I wrote a
No.
quick function that re-added everyone, like the people who because that value
Yeah.
still gets stored in the database. So I was like, okay,
Yes.
everyone who is not on the list but has the checkbox enabled and now gets added. So a few more people will get emails next time. Next time we send out a newsletter.
Ah, well, at least you've caught it now, and you've been able to
Actually,
rectify
Lisa
that.
Lisa caught it. She was like, um, I noticed that the number of newsletter subscribers has barely changed.
Hmm.
Only the people who actually like found the very hidden page on the website and then like entered themselves.
It's funny. You've now got a cohort in that period of time of people who did that, who are super motivated to hear from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now we also include the people who are slightly motivated
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
still manually check the checkbox. Like I
Hmm.
think it's even in EU law you have to like leave that checkbox unchecked by default. But
Yep.
it just feels right to do so as well. But the people who did check that checkbox, that's like a strong intent, right?
Ah, that's cool. That's really cool. You've reminded me that I need to actually think about putting in an email sign up into the app itself. I'm kind of missing something there, um, which I don't know if I can do. Actually, I know apps do it, but I don't know how much, whether that will cause me any hassle on App Store review or not if I don't do it
Ooh.
right.
I mean, like you got to try, right?
Yeah, YOLO. um, but I'm crowbarring into a new section, and I'm not sure the sections concept really helps us, Daniel. I feel like sections should just be a natural flow, but
Hmm. Maybe the sections need to be more, um, like more encompassing. Like, what if we are in the email section? Then we can like talk about all the email related things
well, I
that
have an email
we have.
related thing to ask you because again, this is me crowbarring and segueing, but we've got a note here about when is appropriate to reply to customer support.
Right. Like this is an
That needs
ongoing
expanding. Yeah.
discussion I have with Lisa, basically, which is, or maybe one that I need to have with Lisa. Like I know that
Hmm.
she sometimes listens to this show, so I can't like just like put words in her mouth, right? Um, um, so right now, like we are very much motivated, and we very much try to answer to each customer email
Yep.
that reaches us, even if um, I don't know, even if it's like something that is maybe like something that will definitely not lead to a sale or something that is very complicated to answer. Like sometimes it takes a while, but we eventually get to everyone.
Yep.
And I'm feeling I want to think about slightly stepping away from that. And I think I made some moves towards that already.
Yep.
um I posted about it on Mastodon. I think I told you even, but that kind of didn't stick. So now we're back to answering everyone. But I think I'm wondering, how do I say, hey, there's too much email, and I'm gonna like some things I will just read and then like nod to myself, maybe make a bug ticket if it's a bug report, but then not
Yep.
answer. Like, what is a friendly, non-asshole way to say that? because I don't want to be an asshole. Like, and I'm like when I'm writing to an indie company, like if I would be writing, if I were to write to, I don't know, Cultured Code
Mhm.
or off the top of my head, Revenue Cat or whatever, like I would be happy for them to answer me, but I wouldn't really expect it, especially if it's not like if I wrote them with, hey, I want to be a customer and I want to spend a lot of money for, like with you, of course I would need an answer or would I expect an answer.
Yeah.
Or if I had a serious bug or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know, right? So this is the thing: is that you're right. We don't always expect a reply. Sometimes it is just a for your information kind of thing that people are sending stuff through, and it's a very tough one to call. I think very obviously, uh, it strikes me in your situation, you want to be able to direct people to existing resources to answer
Right.
their questions. Um, I think, and that could be part of this, right? Is that sometimes when you send an email through to somewhere or you make contact, one of the first things that happens is it certainly happens to me quite a lot, is that I get an email almost within like the minute, and that email is an auto reply, and that auto reply then gives me that auto reply then sets my expectations, right? So if it is a complaints or customer service type scenario that I'm contacting, typically you'll end up with your email is important to us. Somebody will get back to you within 24 hours, 48 hours, or whatever I guess their industry standard is. Um, and so it manages your expectations so you're not screaming into the void in the meantime, right? Because this complaint scenario. This could also apply to support, though, and these sort of general inquiries. You could actually use an auto reply to set some expectations.
Huh. But wouldn't that feel super corporate?
It is a little bit, but there's a reason for it. Your time
Like
is
like basically
limited.
it feels like this is just one step away from, having that little chat bot on the in the bottom right of the website. That is like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you are totally talking to an actual human being. Is your problem answered by any of these documentation pages, by the way?
Yeah. So yes,
Uh,
um, but
and
I
that's
think
something
there's
I
a way
don't
of
really want to
landing
do.
it. No, but I think the vision I've got here is more about managing people's expectations about whether to receive a reply or not. So there's
Hmm.
a you know, so it becomes an automatic acknowledgement, but you can sort of say, look, as you can say anything. You could tell people we are still a very small, startup of a
We're
company.
tiny.
We are tiny. Our time is limited, but all feedback is greatly appreciated. Um, if this is uh, if this is a um, I don't know, a new bug or issue or something like that. In language, you could say if this is something
Yeah.
new, someone someone may reach out to you. Otherwise, here's our docs, and thank you very much. Uh,
I'll
but
think about it.
yeah, yeah, and there's probably a way of doing it without being too corporate, for want of a better phrase.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you could commission a copy editor here. Maybe I'm making a job for myself, Daniel.
What's your hourly rate?
Many monies, many monies. Sure, we
Right.
can figure something out. But no, seriously though, I think like if I don't receive a reply, that auto reply that kind of tells me that at least lets me know that it's gone somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
so there's a point where like, okay, I've sent you an email and never heard anything back. Feels negative, and the auto reply can offset that a little bit. Um, it's a very tough balance. People interpret all of these things differently and personally, right?
I mean, yeah, because like you feel like you have this at least parasocial relationship with a company, especially like a tiny one such as ours.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you want to talk to us and then like just nothing comes back, that's kind of negative. But at the same time, on our end, it's like it's like, oh yeah, I've read that bug report 17 times. How do I answer in a friendly way, because that person like wrote it just once, right? But
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm like, oh, can I please go back to fixing the bug? And so yeah, what I really would like to do, but like that's not possible, right? But what I would really like to do is have actually a page or something that says, okay, if you are actually like reporting a bug, this is the issue tracker. Here's open a ticket, please. If you
Mm-hmm.
have a user interface questions, here's the docs. And if you still can't figure out, then come back. Because like
That's another way of
sometimes
handling
the
it.
user
And
interface is like just like lacking. So it's
Mhm.
actually good when people tell us these things. If you want to give us lots of money, like please write an email directly. But that's not possible, because it's not possible to put that in front of an email, because
Mhm.
the email address is just there. It's info@telemetrydeck.com. So thanks for
Yep.
even more email now. Um,
I'm gonna do
um,
one after the show. Uh,
but yeah,
but
maybe the auto reply will help a little bit.
I think
Like
again,
the
you may well
auto
have
reply
just
could just say that, like, hey,
yes.
um, in the meantime, while you're waiting, like have a look at the docs, have a look at the issue tracker. Maybe your issue is even there already. Then you can just like upvote
Hmm.
it or add an emoji or something.
Yep. Yep. So I think you've just described the first cut of your auto reply there to me. It's everything you would want to say ahead of somebody sending an email, but can't. So,
Hmm.
uh, I yeah, but I struggle. Like, if I come back to the original question, when is appropriate to reply or not? Really, is a it depends thing. I think it is appropriate to ignore some email requests and things, and it's and again, like, it's a tough one because you want to help people, but your time is precious and should be, it helps people more that your time is focused on working on the product.
Yeah, at the same time, it's
Uh
good to get all this feedback.
yes.
Like sometimes people are like just like getting all these paper cuts. Like that's what I call the board. Like it's not even a bug. It's just like something. It's like just there's friction, and removing that friction is good. Like, and I sometimes only can remove the friction if I have gotten enough friction in form of friendly but insistent emails.
Yes.
Oh well,
Yes. And to
I'll
that,
think about it some more. I think it's a
yeah.
good idea to like I'm actually coming around to maybe having an auto email. And so yeah,
I think
I
I
think
think it's at least worst if you get the wording right. You
yeah.
can be non-corporate in that reply and still keep the spirit light. I just wanted to say the thing that occurred to me as we were talking. I kind of feel like maybe Sandrine should be replying to me. You're a little icon for Telemetry Deck.
Maybe, but maybe
Yeah.
Sandrine only speaks in binary or something. I don't know.
True. True. Well, it could always be your and Lisa's faces on the email then, maybe.
Hi, you've reached the answering machine of Daniel and Lisa. We're not at home right now. Please leave a message after the beep. Dave, I just got someone sent me a link to a Mastodon post
Hmm.
of someone I don't know and who doesn't know me apparently. And they write, tried out Telemetry Deck, like 2 words somehow, for the first time
Yep.
today. Pretty cool. First impression. Sending signals is super easy. Creating custom dashboards is quite technical, but I'm sure I'll figure out that part too. Aww.
That's lovely. That's
Aww.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome when you can hear the other side like that. It's you would almost I feel like I would almost rarely get a direct email like that, but I will hear about support requests. So maybe
Yeah.
that offsets that. I hope that's offset some of the friction you've been getting in your inbox.
Yeah. Like the friction is not even like, I'm not saying, oh, I dislike the people. Like quite the
No,
contrary.
no,
Like
no, no, no.
I'm just trying to find a way to be polite, but still allow myself to not answer sometimes when it's like, okay,
Yeah.
the information has been transmitted, like, you know.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. Received. Well, Daniel, we are at the outro section of the show. It's
Fantastic.
time to wrap. So to make me feel,
I can't rap. I don't have a beat. I'm not. I can perform under pressure if you like.
I'm not going to beatbox on the mic either. Nobody needs that from me on the show. But do you want to read the outro, Daniel?
I do, yeah. Hey, listener, thanks for listening. Please rate us on iTunes and YouTube. Send us emails at contact@waitingforreview.com. Only Dave gets those, luckily.
Yes.
And join our Discord. The link is in the show notes. And people can find you, Dave, where?
You can find me on Mastodon at dave@social.lightbeamapps.com. And of course, you can find out all about my apps at lightbeamapps.com. And if you go lightbeamapps.com/govjpro, you can sign up to my mailing list and see my copy whenever I send it
And
out.
then Dave can send you email.
Yes, exactly. Boots on the other foot. So, Daniel, where can people find you?
I'm not going to say the email address again. Also, like, the thing is, the info at emails, they go to Lisa first. And then, like, she deals with the first level. It's like only the second level that goes to me. And even that's too much for me. I'm just like a delicate flower, apparently. But yeah, people can find me at daniel@social.telemetrydeck.com, or just go to telemetrydeck.com and sign up for the newsletter, and I can send you emails too.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, take
Have
care,
a
Daniel.
fantastic day, Dave.
Yep.
I am going to say goodbye, and we're
Okay.
going to see you soon.
Take care, Daniel.
Bye.